is it the end of Society6? Let's get into it. So, first of all, regretfully, and to be honest, very sad, I'm very depressed about this. I'm sure I'll get over it, but I am very disappointed, very sad, very heartbroken, deeply affected, I guess you could say, that Society6 is going the wrong path, and is more evident than ever. I've noticed this up until recently, when Society6 had made a change to their website design. My sales went from about $2,200 a month down to like $800. Now, I thought this was kind of a mistake. I thought it was, maybe, I don't even want to say a mistake. Maybe it was just a tide that was turning, things were changing. But very closely after that, it went from 800 to the 600s down to 400. And I haven't checked since, but this morning I was kind of like just chilling, doing my thing. I don't even remember what time I woke up. Did the cold plunge, got out of the cold plunge, and just scrolling through my YouTube comments and stuff. And I noticed I got more than 2 or 3 comments about Society6. Now, I had not gotten any kind of, or excuse me, let me take this back. I did get the emails on Society6, but most of them end up in my promotions tab anyway. So it's not like I was going to read it. People said, did you hear what happened to Society6? Or, update on Society6. Are you going to make a video on Society6? I'm like, well, what happened to Society6? Everything seemed fine. Yeah, my sales were going down, but everything seemed fine. So I checked the email. I don't see anything in my inbox. I Google it. I don't see much of anything. So I don't think much of it. And then a couple more, like maybe 2 more comments came in. And I said, no, let me check this. Let me really look into this. So one of my 3 accounts, I logged in. And I saw the email. I went to the account, of course. And I have the email right here. Okay? You could even see, it was hard for me to even pull it out of my email, so I had to search for it. But we'll get into it. And I'll kind of talk about why I believe this is happening. And I'm going to break down the reality of the business world. And I'm once again, I'm really sad to make a video like this, but I'm going to give you guys my take from a corporate point of view, because I have quite the experience when it comes down to selling businesses, buying businesses, and I've had real dealings with people like this in this kind of world. And when you sell a business, you have to hire attorneys, especially when it's of a certain size. You have to hire attorneys. You have to have management. There's certain fees that are paid, and there's certain new management that comes into play. And unfortunately, new management is not trained on the business. They're not aligned with the core audience of whoever utilizes or whoever's part of the community of that business. We are part of the community of this business. I could say this with probably the utmost confidence, and I don't mean to say this demeaningly or disrespectfully to anybody on YouTube, but I feel like I was one of the biggest contributors to Society6 as a platform, as a true seller who happens to be a YouTuber. I've been making money since, God knows, 2016 on Society6, and I really started to do really, really well around 2019, where I was generating more than 1,000. By 2020, I was up in the 2,000-3,000s, and I actually took screenshots of it, and it went on like that for a long time. I'm not saying that there are people who don't generate more than me. There's obviously people that do, but I was doing pretty damn well. I'll just be honest. I haven't seen anybody on YouTube kind of report the sales that I did. And once again, the screenshots are there. The videos are there. But without further ado, I'll kind of read this. It says, Society6, dear artist, we hope this message finds you well. As Society6 continues to evolve, we're making strategic changes to our marketplace structure to better align with the current market dynamics and customer preferences. While our community has grown to include over 400,000 artists, an incredibly diverse catalog, we've decided to operate as a more focused brand with smaller groups of artists. Regrettably, after careful consideration of various factors, including market trends and customer needs, we decided your account will not be included in the curated group of artists moving forward, starting March 18th, 2025. Your designs will remain on Society6.com, and you will still have access to your account and earnings until March 18th. However, you will not be able to upload any new designs. Any personal information associated with your account will be handled in accordance with Section 14 of our privacy notice. Additionally, you will not be charged for your artist plan beginning today, February 3rd. Any artist plan fees previously collected for services beyond February 2nd will be prorated and refunded back to you. Please allow 7 to 10 business days. This was a difficult decision. We want to express our sincere appreciation for your contributions to the Society6 community. We understand the news might be disappointing. We wish you continued success in your artistic endeavors. This could have been a lot worse. It could have said, hey, we're just going to decide that we're going to delete everybody's account and just keep a few people's account on there. So it's not like I'm defending them, but this could have been worse. For those who are not sure about my stance on the whole Society6 thing, I have 3 accounts. I have over 20,000 designs. I think I have like 23,000 or 24,000. 2 accounts are maxed out at 10,000 each. Okay? And my 3rd account, like I said, was in the kind of 4,000 or 5,000, something like that. To say this is disheartening is the least to say. And the reason why I say that is because I know what Society6 could have became. Let me explain. Around April 2023, a little bit before, Society6 was acquired as a company. It had new management, and it was bought. And let me explain why this happens. When a company goes, I don't want to say out of business, but when a company is struggling to pay the bills, they put their company up for sale. There's only 2 times in history where it makes sense for a company to actually sell itself. Number 1, when it's at its peak, or number 2, when it's going down. When the bills are hard to pay, or the company's running into deep waters, what happens is the company will put itself up for sale in an effort for all the people who are in the current managerial positions to get paid and get out. That's really what happens. Namely, being the CEO, the CFO, the CTO, and maybe a few more C-suite positions. There's really not many. And the truth is, in 90% of acquisitions and exits, most employees do not get paid. They don't get some sort of bonus or some appreciation pay. They don't get almost anything. Only very, very small times does that actually happen. A lot of people think that when a company is sold, everybody gets paid. That's not the case. It's really only C-suite positions, people who hold equity. And in this case, with Society6, Society6 was a private company when it first sold, or when it was acquired, rather, by a company called the Leaf Group. So for people who aren't sure what the Leaf Group is an acquisitions company, okay? And they specifically acquire companies that are in the creative fields. So fields around, print on demand, i.e. Society6, fields around art, fields around creative things like that, okay? And you could see here from their Crunchbase account, they have a number of acquisitions, one being Society6. But there's also one here that will catch your attention if you really pay attention to it. And there's a company called Saatchi Art. Now, if you look at the dates here, Saatchi Art was acquired after Society6. And Society6 was acquired in 2013 by Leaf Group. Now, why did things go left? Society6 wasn't always doing bad. Mind you, 2013 was the acquisition, and then around 2023, so 10 years later, in April, things started to go left. Why? Well, when you purchase a company and things are changing in that company, what happened around the 2023 period? Well, we were going from the downturn of COVID. Most of everything would have been okay had they not hired the person that they hired. I'm not going to say the person's name. You could easily Google them. But I'm not one to criticize people in high positions. I definitely don't want to end up missing the next day. But the CEO of Society6 was hired in April of 2023. And at the end of the day, the CEO is responsible for all behaviors on the website. And I've been noticing this on Society6. They were just doing things that were plainly stupid, in my opinion. For example, I'll give you a quick example. Let's look at this email that Society6 sent out 9 days ago. Amber Lauder, basically they're giving a spotlight to the creators. They're showing off her art in some photo. I'm sure it's a great accolade for her, and all respect to her, but this does not help your company grow. If you have a customer base, right? Customers don't care about who the artists are. They're interested in buying the art for the most part. Nobody's going to look at this girl and say, oh, I love her tie-dye t-shirt. Because she has a tie-dye t-shirt, I want to support her this much more, and I want to go buy her stuff. Nobody says that. What happens is this is what you call lazy marketing. Society6 CEO puts people in place. Now, she doesn't I'm going to say she because it's a she, but she doesn't directly put people in place. What happens is she hires people who are under her. And you have people like the chief marketing executives, and what they do is they'll hire people to carry out email marketing campaigns. And the email marketing campaigns are approved by a team lead. And so when you put out an email like this, right, let's say they have a quota. Let's say they'll say, we want 2 emails every 72 hours, and we want X amount of open rates, and we want X amount of deliverables, and we want to see conversion rates go up, or we want to see revenue go up, or whatever the case may be. Well, the marketing team is not really considering conversion rates or sales. They're only considering their piece of the objective, which is marketing. And so when you have every single team considered or concerned with only their piece, and they're really not intertwined with the messaging of the company, which is exactly what happened in April of 2023 when this new CEO came into play, things start to fall apart. Once again, Society6 could have been one of the best print-on-demand companies known to man. In fact, I'm going to make a claim right now. If anybody from Society6 investors are listening to this, or even the Leaf Group, fire your current CEO, hire me, I'll take care of it. I'm telling you. What happened is the current CEO had no experience with how actual print-on-demand sellers behave and think. She is just purely a CEO. She just cares about the bottom dollar. And in an effort to make the platform better, she only made it worse because, once again, she doesn't understand how actual print-on-demand works. Why do I say that? The people who fuel your growth as a company are your designers. The demand always exists. It's your job to capture the demand. Indirectly, inadvertently, your designers are capturing demand for you. And if your marketing is halfway decent, you'll be doing pretty good because there's always an influx of more work. If I was the CEO, there would be a few things I would have changed. Firstly, I would have got rid of the whole entire current marketing team, and I would have got down with maybe 2 or 3 people, maybe even 5 people at maximum. And we would have talked about what kind of marketing campaigns are actually important to our customers. This is not a marketing campaign that matters, with all due respect. The first thing we need to do is we need to segment our audience. We need to figure out what do our customers care about, and we need to separate them. So if we see that Karen from Ohio loves to buy animal pictures, then we put her in a list that is segmented to that. If we see Jacob likes to buy Carrera marble posters for his new house, then we segment an audience for that. And then we figure out incentivization-based offers to get them to convert. This does not help anybody. What kind of person looks at an email like this and says, you know what, I'm going to buy this product simply because this person was, for example, from Pittsburgh? Nobody cares. It's not part of the objective. That's what makes the internet so beautiful, is that I can sell a product to somebody halfway across the world. They don't know me. They never seen me. They don't care about me. All they care about is the value that I bring, which is the product that I'm offering. So that's the first thing I would do. I would do segmentation. The second thing I would make, instead of pay to play, meaning instead of paying to get your artwork, to be able to upload more artwork, I wouldn't do that at all. I would allow people to upload as much as I can. I would do restrictions based on identity. So first, you have to verify your identity to upload more than X amount, right? Then I would say, okay, in order for you to upload more than 100 images or 25 images or whatever it is, we want you to make a post on Instagram about your art or whatever, you know? And what this would do, and I would kind of create it like a pyramid system. What this would do is, firstly, the people who are spammers, it would kind of kill them off a little bit because they have no interest in growing the actual company. They just want to put their art somewhere and they want to spam it out. And the reality is, if it's not worth anything, if it's not going to generate income, the spammers will know before the company finds out, and they're just not even going to attempt to keep uploading. So what they'll do instead is, by this marketing tier system, the more that the user markets their account and promotes it, the more they'll be able to upload. It's kind of like a positive feedback loop of success. The more the person creates, the more the person promotes, and the more then the person is allowed to create. A lot of people got upset about this. Essentially you're paying to be able to upload more on the platform. A lot of people got upset about that. What I would do is I would create an ad system. So if Society6 needs more money, it's perfectly fine. We can make money two different ways. We can increase revenue or we can cut costs. There's a lot of people working for Society6 today who are employed by Society6 that offer absolutely no value. Just like in Twitter, we can cut 70 to 80% of the employees and still have the same amount of success. So that's the first thing we could do. The second thing we could do is we could create an internal ad structure. So this would be very easy to implement, but the same way you can run ads on Etsy or Amazon or even Google search or anything like that, we can run ads in Society6. So let's say I create the best lion poster on Society6 as a customer, as a uploader, as a seller, and I believe that I truly do. I should be able to bid on the keyword lion or lion poster or whatever keyword for me to actually put my art up there and hopefully get a chance in a sale. And also, Society6 should be transparent with showing the amount of searches for that specific keyword. Because at the end of the day, the more transparent you are as a company with your sellers, who are the fuel to your business, then the better you get treated. We've seen Amazon do this as well. Amazon, unfortunately, because they're so dominant, right, they get to essentially bend people to their will. Amazon FBA. If anybody's ever sold on Amazon FBA before, you guys know what I'm talking about. The fees are absolutely ridiculous. You are paying all kinds of crazy fees, from storage fees to listing fees to the $49.99 fee every single month, the fractional sale fees. I mean, all kinds of fees. Society6, on the other hand, would encourage people, and honestly, I would create a campaign if I was Society6 to market to sellers across all platforms. So I would run an ad campaign to sellers who do KDP, to sellers who do Redbubble, to sellers who do all these kind of things and say, hey, quit what you're doing over there, come over here, we're going to treat you better, we're not going to charge you as many fees, we're going to help you make more money, come work for us effectively, because what you're doing is you're getting free labor, right? That's one thing I would do. Another thing I would do is, along with paying for ads, as a seller, what you also need to do is you need to give the ability for sellers to be able to have a peace of mind to guarantee the health of their accounts. Now, once again, please, anybody from the Leaf Group is listening, get in contact with me. You guys are a company. You can figure it out. Get in contact with me and hire me as a CEO. I'll make it happen. I'll bring your company back. I'll be the only profitable company in your portfolio because God knows it's not that profitable. And on top of that, we're going to fire all the people who are doing nothing, and we'll make it happen. But let's be honest, guys. Is that truly going to happen? No. The reason why I say this is because, and honestly, I do feel like I'm qualified to work as a CEO of Society6. And the only reason why I say that is because I've had more personal success than the current CEO. At 18, I built a company, sold it for a very large figure. I won't say what the number is. Ever since then, I've been kind of semi-retired, just doing a little work here and there, making more income since then, but I've been effectively retired ever since about the age of 20. So, I mean, I don't need to do any work, but if you want to save your company, hire somebody who's decently qualified. I know all kinds of works in managerial work, logistics, shipping logistics. I mean, all kinds of. I'm not trying to, all kinds of things around that. But anyways, the point is that you acquired a company that was doing well, and you found a way to run it into the ground. Also, not to mention, this new layout change has been absolutely disastrous. I said, no wonder why I've been losing sales every single month. I thought it was, honestly, like changing of seasons, or, there was just less demand for what I was selling. And to be honest, you get to a point where it's like, how much more can you really upload for a platform like this when I was doing more sales back when I had 5,000 uploads versus 25,000 uploads? How does that tend to happen? It's not like the work quality changed. The platform changed as a whole. Ever since they've done that layout change, they also made algorithmic changes. But at that point, the algorithmic changes were too late. The algorithmic changes that I personally noticed was they were accepting people in their algorithm a lot more easier. But at that point, they already had killed their SEO. That was a huge thing. I mean, there was no reason for it, especially, and any amateur knows this, any website at that current level should not have any serious structural changes, especially if it's gaining SEO traction. And what do they come and do? They come and wipe the website with a wrecking ball, completely change it. SEO is killed for about more than 50% to 80% of sellers. I mean, that's what it felt like. 50 to 80% decrease. And like I said, I was making sometimes upwards even past 3,000 a couple months of the year, and per month. And now it's down to 400, from 800 to 600 to 400. I mean, it's quite mind-boggling, right? But anyways, this website right here, Statue.art, this is what they were trying to mimic, this website, because it was one of their profitable companies. Statue.art, for people who don't know, is a company that sells relatively high-ticket type art by private artists. So if you look at, for example, like I don't know, like a piece of art like this, $11,350. The only reason why it's profitable is because of how high-ticket these art pieces are. Now, not to mention, once again, the company doesn't get the whole 11,000, doesn't even get a fraction of it, gets a very small sliver, but it still pays the bills. The point that I'm trying to make here, guys, is that they were trying to mimic this one-off artist-style sales process for Society6 as they were for Statue.art. Now, that's an amateur's gameplay. The reason why is because I've told you guys this before. When somebody just looks at something that works and just sits there and copies, you're an amateur. You can't figure it out yourself. You can't make it work. You just sit there and copy. That's amateur gameplay. That is exactly what was happening here. When customers go to buy Society6, they don't care about the author name. They don't care about the designer name. They don't care. They care about the art. When people come to buy stuff from this website, Statue.art, they are looking specifically for certain artists because there's certain value behind certain names. That's the difference. And you can't you can't put these two websites on a scale and expect them to be the same. Now, I don't know what the CEO was thinking, but you can see it through the behavior of the implementation of different new quote-unquote features of this platform, right? You can see it, and you could see it was going down the wrong road. Like I said, when this whole thing changed and Society6 started charging people to design, I finally thought Society6 was going to really level up. This was their moment to take over. And something that I said was Society6 is struggling with their income right now. And so what they've done is they found a way to cut costs and increase revenue. Because what happens is when you put a requirement on people that the guy who used to have 400 images who's spamming now can only have 10, you're cutting costs quite dramatically from server costs. And you're doing this not just one time, two times, but you're doing this hundreds of thousands of times. What you're doing is you're cutting costs dramatically, which increases, at the end of the day, your bottom line, right? But also when you charge the people who are serious and legitimate, now you're actually producing an income. I thought that was one of the best moves that they could make. I thought, hey, Society6, just like every other company right now, is struggling. Redbubble was struggling. TeePublic was struggling. Zazzle was struggling. There was not a single company that had existed that was not struggling. Why? Because COVID, during COVID, all the sales ran up like in crazy. And companies adhered to the new threshold. New expenses, right? Kind of like spending inflation, if you will. And companies were kind of freaking out. How come we're not making the same? So what they did was they started coming up with these new creative ideas to try to make more money or try to at least mimic the numbers from the quarters they had previously during COVID. Obviously, that could not have happened. You got to remember how much money was inflated into our economy. People are getting checks of over $1,000 a month for 3 months or something. I don't remember the exact numbers, but those stimulus package payments, that money is going to go somewhere. Redbubble's revenue increased. I mean, they were making over $99 million a quarter, right? Everybody was making money during COVID. When COVID died off, everything changed. And this was a year after COVID had died off. Everything started to really change for the worst. Society6 figured out a way to cut costs, like I said, make money. But they screwed it all up. Had they become a little more creative and more ingenuitive, and it's really not they. It's at the end of the day, it's the CEO. The CEO is responsible for all these kind of ideas. You're the chief executive operator. You're responsible for everything that goes on in the company. And sometimes, instead of going to parties and chilling and, doing what they're doing, you got to sit down in a room alone and just think, what can we do? Now, if she was some sort of seller, a print-on-demand seller, if she had gone through any kind of real-life print-on-demand experience, she would know that what sellers want. The idea of the ad system would have came to her mind. The idea of, helping customers, kind of guaranteeing them or coming up with sort of campaign to drive more legitimate sellers to their platform. Anything. She could have came up with something legitimate. But instead, they changed the website design. What the hell is that going to do? And on top of that, most idiotic idea, simply because the website was already generating SEO-based traffic, and it was extremely effective. It's mind-boggling to me. Leaf Group hired the CEO. How on earth did she pass checks? I mean, what is this? I could hire a 19-year-old and would perform better than this. This is embarrassing. Honestly, you're talking about a company that did 21 acquisitions. Average acquisition is north of $10 million. What on earth is going on here? But hey, I'm not the CEO of Leaf Group. This is an atrocity. Somebody deserves to be in prison for this because they have literally killed this company. I hope this company could come back. The only chance of it resurrecting once again is if they hire me, and I will absolutely do a good job. I'll make sure everybody gets paid. I'll make sure everybody does well. We'll fire the people who don't do work. We can make Society6 great again. I could definitely be a CEO of Society6, but to be honest, they're not going to hire me. It's not going to happen. But hey, if anybody knows anybody at Society6, send this video to them, and we can make it happen. But if not, I mean, it is what it is. This is the death of an amazing company. This is the start of the death. This is the beginning of the end for Society6. I'll say this, on the bright side, for all people who do print on demand, because I lost a lot here. We're talking about accounts, and really it's not my ability that I can't upload anymore that saddens me. It's my ability, if they told me, hey, you're not going to upload anymore, but we're going to keep running this company and we're going to do it really well and all this, I might be okay with that. But I see the company running into a damn dark hole here. There's no coming out of this. This is just terrible. I mean, these are the type of decisions you cannot back away from. Because what are you going to do? Put it on an email 4 months later and say, hey, sorry, we changed our mind. Everybody who's signed up for Society6, you're allowed to upload again. I mean, you're too far gone. We can clearly see what the issues are here. You're not making enough money. Your spending is through the roof. The ad campaigns that you're running is not converting. The email marketing is a waste of money. It's not converting. Nobody really cares. Who is running this company? Where are they? What are they even thinking? This is amateur level business marketing. Nobody should be sending out emails like this when your company is losing money. I mean, I could go through the list of Society6 emails, but this is disastrous. I mean, no offense to the girl in this email, but Society6 sends out emails like this all the time. This is a waste of resources. Every email you send to customers needs to be something important. If you guys notice, people who sign up to my email thing, I don't send emails every day or every week. I only send it when it's kind of pressing or it's kind of important. And a lot of people open them. I get over 50% email open rates where people will open the message and over 30% click-through rate. Why? Because my messages are important. When you start sending messages like this, at the end of the day, your customers really don't care. And so they're going to pay attention less and less and less, and then eventually your word matters less and less and less. Yes, I'm sad about this. Of course, it doesn't affect my life that much. I mean, I went from making $3K plus to down to like $400 on Society6 and doing more work, which is crazy, but we've gotten to a point now, obviously, I've gotten to a point now where it's like, I don't know. I don't know what to say. This is just embarrassing. Honestly, it's sad and it's embarrassing that Society6, such a strong company, one of the top 5 in my opinion, to be flat on its face in this kind of way, to the point where they are stopping people from uploading because they can't. The only reason why is because they can't afford server costs. This is not a rebrand. This is not a repositioning. Everybody can see through this. I mean, it's just not something positive. That's all I got to say. I'm going to continue making more videos that are positive. I'll talk to you guys soon. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. But this is my outlook of it, I wouldn't be surprised if Society6 gets sold to a new owner in the future, in the near future, 1 or 2 years from now. But this has been disastrous. Absolutely disastrous. I'll talk to you guys later. Hopefully you enjoyed this video. I mean, I don't even know if I could say that. I say that every video. But I'll talk to you guys later. Peace out. Bye.